Sean Combs, also known by many names, Puff Daddy, Puffy, P. Diddy, or simply Diddy, has long been recognized as a powerful rapper, producer, and businessman. Today, however, he finds himself embroiled in shocking criminal allegations.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
How did college parties help him launch a career in the music industry? How did he rise to rap stardom without writing a single track of his own? How has he managed to maintain his influence and popularity over the years? And what crimes is he now being accused of? We'll dive into all of this right now.
Now this is what the music industry is all about.
P. Diddy, from parties to scandals. Childhood in New York. Sean John Combs was born on November 4th, 1969, in Harlem, New York. His mother, Janice Smalls, worked as both a school teacher's assistant and a model. His father, Melvin Earl Combs, served in the U.S. Air Force, but also had ties to the criminal world. He was an associate of notorious gangster Frank Lucas, who smuggled illegal substances into the U.S. using military planes and unofficially ruled Harlem. Melvin was a close friend of Lucas and often visited his home, sometimes bringing his young son, Sean, along. However, Melvin's life was cut short at the age of 33 when he was shot during a failed drug deal in a parking lot near Central Park. Sean was just 2 years old at the time. The gangster theme had a lasting influence on Combs, as his favorite film is Scarface, starring Al Pacino, a crime drama about a Cuban refugee who rises to power in the criminal underworld. Diddy has claimed to have watched the film over 60 times. His favorite TV show is Good Times, a sitcom about a struggling African-American family in Chicago. After becoming a widow, Janice moved her children, Sean and his newborn sister, Keisha, to the New York suburb of Mount Vernon. She wanted to keep them away from the dangerous life of Harlem and kept them busy. Young Combs even served as an altar boy in a Catholic church, and one summer, Janice sent him to live with an Amish family on a farm, where he helped with chores and farm work. At 12 years old, Sean altered his birth certificate to get a job as a paperboy, despite being too young for the position. He even devised a plan to earn double pay. He convinced another boy to apply for a second paper route, but Sean delivered the papers himself. Meanwhile, Janice worked 3 jobs to support her family. Sean attended Mount St. Michael Academy, a Catholic boys' school, where he earned the nickname Puff, which later became part of his stage name. The name came from his habit of puffing or huffing when he got angry, or during football games. Despite his religious schooling, Sean never became a practicing Catholic. In interviews, he has stated that he doesn't follow any specific religion. King of parties. After finishing high school, Sean Combs enrolled at Howard University, a historically black college in Washington, D.C. He began studying business but quickly realized that academic success wasn't the path to his dreams. At Howard, Sean became known as the King of Parties. His events attracted hundreds of students. It was at these parties that Combs made valuable connections. In 1990, through rapper Heavy D, he landed an internship at Uptown Records, a major New York-based record label specializing in R&B and hip-hop. At first, Sean balanced school and work. He attended classes in Washington from Monday to Wednesday, woke up at 5 a.m. on Thursdays to make it to his job in New York by 10 a.m., and returned to campus on Friday evenings to throw his weekend parties. After his second year, Combs dropped out of Howard to focus full-time on Uptown Records. There, he worked with newly signed artists, including Mary J. Blige. Her debut album was a huge success, and Sean Puffy Combs solidified his reputation as a talented manager in the music industry. Despite not finishing his degree, Combs was awarded an honorary doctorate in humanities from Howard University in 2014. Back in New York, Sean continued throwing wild parties and lived an extravagant lifestyle. Usher, who lived with Combs for a year as a 13-year-old, has shared stories about that wild period in Sean's life. Tragedy at the City College of New York. In 1991, Sean Combs, alongside Heavy D, organized a celebrity charity basketball game to raise money for AIDS research. The event was scheduled to take place in the gymnasium of the City College of New York. However, they sold twice as many tickets as the venue could accommodate. People with tickets desperately tried to push their way in, causing a stampede. Tragically, 9 people died and 29 others were seriously injured in the chaos. Following this tragedy, several civil lawsuits were filed against the organizers, but no criminal charges were brought. Combs is known to have paid an undisclosed amount to the victims, and in 1993, he was fired from Uptown Records. The label's leadership waited a few years for the scandal to die down, but by then, Combs had already caused them numerous problems. The more successful he became, the more unpredictable his behavior grew, and he increasingly clashed with colleagues. That same year, Combs welcomed his first child, Justin, with stylist Misa Hilton-Brim. Misa often styled the artists Sean worked with, but their relationship didn't last long. Bad Boy. After being fired from Uptown Records, Sean Combs founded his own label, Bad Boy Records, under the umbrella of Arista Records. His biggest star was Notorious B.I.G., also known as Biggie, and soon Puffy managed to sign other notable artists, such as Carl Thomas, Faith Evans, the group 112, and more. In addition, Combs assembled a powerhouse production team whose sound engineers worked with the artists like Usher, Lil' Kim, TLC, Mariah Carey, Boyz II Men, and Aretha Franklin. By that time, Combs had already gained a reputation for being ruthless and greedy. He was known for threatening the artists on his label, often justifying it as a commitment to discipline. For example, he prohibited smoking under threat of contract termination. His strict behavior led to success, so many people in Sean's circle praised him as an extremely driven and ambitious individual. Combs always worked to maintain a public image of strength and toughness. He preferred not to show any vulnerabilities, although he has several, such as lactose intolerance, a fear of confined spaces, and a fear of clowns. Once, when he participated in Fear Factor, he specifically included in his contract that none of the challenges could involve clowns. In 1994, Combs met actress Kimberly Porter. Officially, they were together until 2007, during which time they had a son, Christian, and twin daughters, Delilah Starr and Jesse James. Combs also adopted Porter's son from a previous relationship. However, despite his long relationship with Kim, he wasn't shy about having affairs on the side. The East Coast-West Coast feud. By the mid-90s, Sean Combs had become a major player in the hip-hop industry, and tensions between his New York-based Bad Boy Records and the Los Angeles-based Death Row Records escalated into a full-blown East Coast-West Coast feud. The CEO of Death Row, Suge Knight, blamed Combs for the death of his friend, allegedly at the hands of Combs' bodyguard. This rivalry reached its peak with the tragic murders of Tupac Shakur in 1996 and Notorious B.I.G. in 1997. It wasn't until September 2023 that Dwayne "Keffy D" Davis, the alleged orchestrator of Tupac's murder, was arrested. However, rumors have long circulated that the real mastermind behind Tupac's killing was Sean Combs. Eminem has hinted at this in his tracks, and the only surviving member of the gang involved in the murder once claimed that Diddy had promised him $1 million to eliminate Tupac. There have also been rumors about Combs' possible involvement in the death of his friend and Bad Boy's star, Notorious B.I.G. Some speculate that Biggie, like many other artists, was planning to leave Bad Boy for a better deal. In fact, Combs has since gained a reputation in the music industry as an exploiter. many musicians have complained about unfair contracts under his label. Rap debut. In 1996, Sean Combs was preparing new marketing campaigns to promote his artists and working on his own debut album under the name Puff Daddy. However, the untimely death of Notorious B.I.G. disrupted his plans. In response, his label quickly released the tribute song, I'll Be Missing You.
So far from hanging on the block for dough, Notorious, they got to know that.
Which spent 11 weeks at the top of the Billboard chart and earned Puffy a Grammy for Best Rap Performance by a duo or group. Soon after, Combs released his debut album, No Way Out, which also won a Grammy in a rap category.
One for all is pain to see your people when they all can't ball the pain.
Interestingly, the album was originally going to be titled Hell Up in Harlem, but after Biggie's death, it was renamed. The music video for one of the album's tracks, Victory, became legendary as one of the most expensive music videos ever made, with a budget of $2.7 million. The video featured famous actors Dennis Hopper and Danny DeVito. It's well known that Combs didn't write his own lyrics. He always relied on the artists from his label for help. One musician who worked at Bad Boy shared that Combs could describe how he wanted a song to sound, but he didn't know what to say in the lyrics. In the rap community, using ghostwriters is generally frowned upon, but that didn't stop Puff from topping the charts, as he rapped in one of his tracks, "Don't worry if I write rhymes, I write checks." Building a business empire. In 1998, Puff Daddy's collaboration with Jimmy Page, Come With Me, became the soundtrack for the film Godzilla. However, Sean Combs, who had always dreamed of immense wealth, didn't stop at the music business. That same year, he launched his sportswear line, Sean John. The brand immediately found success, appealing not only to hip-hop fans, but also gaining recognition from fashion industry experts. Combs became a regular guest at the prestigious CFDA Fashion Awards, and in 2004, he won the award for Best Menswear Designer. Today, Sean John continues to thrive, producing both men's and women's collections. Meanwhile, in 1999, Puff Daddy released his second studio album, Forever.
Just to be seen, type to leave a gunfight with a full magazine.
The album featured many well-known rappers and R&B artists, including Lil' Kim, Jay-Z, Busta Rhymes, and the controversial R. Kelly. While Forever was commercially successful, it sparked criticism due to its heavy use of samples, which divided opinions among critics. The Nightclub Shooting. In 1999, Sean Combs faced charges for attacking record executive Steve Stoute. Stoute had refused to remove a scene from a music video at Combs' request, prompting Combs to strike him with a champagne bottle. The issue was later settled when Combs pled guilty and paid Stoute $500,000 in damages. Toward the end of the year, Combs was involved in yet another major scandal. He and rapper Shyne were involved in a nightclub shooting in New York, which left several clubgoers injured. Combs was there with his then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez, and all three were arrested. Lopez was released the same night. Shyne was sentenced to 10 years in prison, but Puff Daddy escaped relatively unscathed. Even though Combs attempted to bribe his driver to take the blame for the shooting, he was acquitted of all charges. However, Combs continued to battle his driver in court for several years before eventually reaching a settlement. His relationship with Lopez ended on Valentine's Day a few years later. In 2001, Combs changed his stage name to P. Diddy and planned to release a gospel album, though it never materialized. Instead of religious themes, Combs focused on his legal troubles, releasing the album The Saga Continues.
Through the fame and the stardom, making my mark on Harlem like Poe did. I said,
with many songs referencing the nightclub shooting and the high-profile court case that followed. Film debut. Just before the release of his album The Saga Continues, Sean Combs ended his contract with Arista Records, gaining full control over his label, Bad Boy Records, along with its catalog and artists. Around this time, Combs made his acting debut in the crime film Made and the dark drama Monsters Ball.
I'm not gonna see you again after this.
No.
Why?
Because I'm a bad man.
Who says?
I do.
Shortly after, he became the executive producer of the reality show Making the Band, which aired on MTV from 2002 to 2009. In the early 2000s, P. Diddy made an appearance at the New York Charity Marathon in support of the city's education system. This cause is familiar to him, as back in 1995, he founded the organization Daddy's House Social Programs, which helps New York youth receive an education. White parties and new lawsuits. By this time, Sean Combs had become notorious for his extravagant and often scandalous celebrity parties, calling himself the New Gatsby. For instance, in 2002, he celebrated his 33rd birthday with a 3-day party in Morocco, rumored to have been paid for by the country's king. His famous white parties, where all guests were required to wear white, were legendary. These events were hosted at his mansion in East Hampton, which he purchased in 1998 for nearly $2.5 million. Over the years, hundreds of A-list celebrities attended his gatherings. Interestingly, Combs sometimes rented out the mansion for $200,000 a month and eventually sold it in 2020 for $4.7 million. In 2003, Combs' clothing brand Sean John came under public scrutiny after reports surfaced that factories in Honduras, where the clothes were produced, were violating workers' rights. Allegations included forcing employees to work overtime, conducting invasive searches, and making female workers take pregnancy tests. Additionally, Combs faced yet another lawsuit. The former general manager of Bad Boy Records claimed that Combs had coerced him into relinquishing his shares in the label by threatening physical violence. However, the case was dismissed in 2006 due to the statute of limitations. Diddy Successes. In 2004, Sean Combs performed during the Super Bowl halftime show, and a year later, he announced yet another stage name change, this time simply to Diddy. However, in the UK, he remained P. Diddy because London-based DJ Richard Dearlove, who had been using the name Diddy since 1992, sued him, resulting in a ban on Combs using the name there. Around this time, Combs expanded his film career, starring in the crime drama Carlito's Way, Rise to Power, set in 1960s Harlem. He played a gangster named Nicky Barnes, based on the real-life Harlem crime boss of the same name.
When you take something that's mine, you spit in my face. And it hurts me.
Combs also landed a role in the theatrical production of A Raisin in the Sun, which was later adapted for television. Around this period, he sold half of his Bad Boy Records label to Warner Music Group. In 2006, Combs released the album Press Play, which debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200.
Inject this dose of the future. Tap them veins, grab hold, let me shoot ya.
The album featured collaborations with stars like Nicole Scherzinger, Christina Aguilera, and Keisha Cole. That same year, the mayor of Chicago declared October 13th as Diddy Day in honor of his charitable work. However, 2006 could have been a year of tragedy for the rapper. During a boat trip, Combs and his entourage overloaded the vessel, which began to take on water in rough seas. Their cries for help were heard by Russian actor Alexander Roback, who was on a yacht in the Mediterranean. After being rescued, the two groups celebrated together at a joint party. Also in 2006, Diddy and Kim Porter welcomed twin daughters, but 5 months earlier, another woman, Sarah Chapman, gave birth to his daughter. Combs officially took legal responsibility for the child a year later. In 2007, Combs teamed up with 50 Cent and Jay-Z to record the track Forbes I Get Money $1 Billion Remix.
I get money.
As for the question of whether Diddy became a billionaire, opinions differ. Some sources claim he reached billionaire status in 2022, while others say he never did. Regardless, Diddy clearly aimed to join the list by acquiring a stake in the vodka brand Ciroc. Profits from the venture were split equally between Diddy and the British manufacturer Diageo. An unreliable partner. It's interesting to note that Sean Combs first connected with a representative from Diageo at one of his famous white parties. The fact that Diddy's parties were attended by the wealthy and influential convinced the British company's executives to collaborate with him. They saw him as the perfect person to make clubgoers favor Ciroc vodka. However, Combs turned out to be an unreliable partner. He frequently canceled business meetings and alternated between bursts of creative ideas and complete disinterest in the business. Around that time, Combs began dating singer Cassie Ventura. They met in 2005 when she was 19, and she was signed to his label. Their relationship remained secret for a long time and ended in 2018. In 2007, Diddy garnered attention with a provocative ad campaign for his women's fragrance Unforgivable Woman, released under his Sean John brand. The commercial was deemed too explicit and was banned from television due to its risque content. A similar situation happened in 2015 with another fragrance ad, except this time his co-star was Cassie Ventura, whereas the first featured model Jessica Gomez. Interestingly, Diddy's men's fragrance I Am King did not face any issues. In 2008, Combs launched the reality show I Want to Work for Diddy, which aired for 2 years. That same year, he was honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and publicly supported Barack Obama in the presidential election. In 2009, Combs appeared in 2 episodes of the TV series CSI Miami, playing lawyer Derek Powell. He also made appearances in an episode of Entourage, the mockumentary I'm Still Here, and the comedy Get Him to the Greek.
It's gonna be all right. He's not gonna die.
Keep feeding him drugs and lies. He's a sad guy. He needs help.
He's gonna live a long time. Trust me.
Musical flop and new ventures. In 2010, Diddy formed the trio Diddy, Dirty Money, featuring singers Dawn Richard and Kalena Harper. Together, they released the album Last Train to Paris. The album's concept followed Diddy, or his alter ego, on a journey from London to Paris to win back a lost love.
I love you more than I love myself, and you no more.
While the album was a creative departure for Combs, it was met with lukewarm reception and became the biggest commercial failure of his career. In the early 2000s and 10s, Diddy made guest appearances on several TV shows, including Hawaii 5-0 and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, as well as in the sports drama Draft Day. However, his primary focus during this time was on expanding his business empire. He acquired another alcohol brand from Diageo, De Leon Tequila, and launched Revolt TV, a cable network aimed at African Americans and largely dedicated to hip-hop. Revolt TV became a platform for young artists and initially saw success, reaching 50 million US households by 2021. However, interest in the network has sharply declined in recent years. In 2015, Diddy announced the release of a follow-up to his debut album, but the new material was released as a mixtape titled MMM, Money Making Mitch.
Money making Mitch is this fairy tale, you know?
He even hinted at retiring from the music industry to focus on acting, but those plans never materialized, and he returned to music production. Around the same time, Diddy acquired a controlling stake in the sports beverage company Aqua Hydrate in partnership with actor Mark Wahlberg and businessman Ronald Burkle. New era, love. During this period, Sean Combs stayed relatively out of the public eye, aside from announcing yet another name change, this time to Love. In 2018, he also planned to launch a joint project with Jay-Z to support small businesses. The project aimed to create an app that would allow users to locate Black-owned businesses nearby, but it never materialized. Combs had long been involved in initiatives supporting the African-American community. He donated $1 million to his alma mater, Howard University, and supported organizations like the Harlem Boys and Girls Club, among others. Rumors about Diddy's sexuality had circulated for much of his career, but they reignited in 2018 after the release of rapper Blood Orange's music video for Hope. In the video, two men embrace, while P. Diddy speaks in the background about overcoming his fears.
Is this the way that you
bring hope when you come around, yeah.
Although Combs has never addressed the rumors directly, many in the industry have speculated about his sexuality. For instance, TV host Wendy Williams often hinted that Diddy might be gay. In 2019, Diddy invested in PlayVS, a platform for organizing collegiate esports competitions. Around the same time, rumors spread that he was romantically involved with model Lori Harvey. In June 2022, rapper Young Miami publicly revealed her polyamorous relationship with Diddy. Later that year, it was revealed that Diddy had welcomed a daughter named Love Sean Combs with another woman, Dana Tran. In 2022, Combs announced the launch of a new label, Love Records. And the following year, he released his fifth studio album, The Love Album, Off the Grid. The album featured collaborations with major artists like The Weeknd, Busta Rhymes, and Justin Bieber, among others. Although the album received mixed reviews, its promotion was overshadowed by numerous allegations of abuse. Allegations and arrest. It all began on November 16, 2023, when Diddy's former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, filed a lawsuit alleging that she had suffered years of abuse at the hands of Sean Combs. She claimed that he physically assaulted her and exerted total control over every aspect of her life. The $30 million lawsuit was settled the very next day, but it triggered a wave of other accusations. In the following months, more victims came forward with their own stories. Although Combs denied all allegations, by late November, he stepped down as chairman of his cable TV network, seemingly to protect his business interests. In February 2024, the first male accuser came forward. Music producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones claimed that, besides Diddy's well-known white parties, the rapper also hosted secretive events called freakouts, where illegal activities allegedly took place involving minors. These private parties were far from the public eye. Guests were not allowed to use their mobile phones, and only Diddy's inner circle or those under his influence could attend. These events reportedly took place in hotels around the world and could last for several days. Additionally, it was revealed that attendees were often filmed, allegedly for blackmail purposes. In March, Diddy's homes in Miami and Los Angeles were raided, and authorities found weapons and over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Around the same time, more serious sexual assault allegations emerged, and in May, a video from 2016 surfaced, showing Diddy physically assaulting Cassie Ventura. On September 17th, Sean Combs was arrested. According to the charges, he had run a dirty empire of sexualized crimes for over a decade. It is alleged that he used his personal assistants, bodyguards, and other staff members to help cover up these crimes. Business troubles. Even before the allegations surfaced, Sean Combs was already facing setbacks in his business ventures. He had plans to create the largest black-owned cannabis company in the world, but the $185 million deal fell through. Combs also aimed to acquire the media company BET, which targets African American audiences, as part of his strategy to build a global media empire. However, this plan also failed to materialize. Following his arrest, Combs' business prospects took a further hit. Retailers that carried his clothing line severed ties with him, and his longtime alcohol partner Diageo also ended their partnership. It had already been on shaky ground. Combs sued Diageo for racism in 2023, claiming they had underinvested in promoting their joint tequila brand compared to George Clooney's similar product. In January 2024, the partnership officially ended, and Combs received $200 million for his 50% stake. According to experts, from 2007 to 2023, Diageo paid Diddy a total of $1 billion, far surpassing what he earned from his music career. Meanwhile, Combs' Bad Boy Records is no longer a dominant force in the music industry. Revolt TV has lost relevance, as it relied on low-budget talk shows rather than creative scripted content or reality TV, which competitors offered. His Sean John clothing brand has also struggled. In recent years, Combs tried to revive the company by hiring a new team of designers, but now the brand's website is offline, and no new collections are being released. Combs had planned to produce a reality show called Diddy Plus 7, focusing on himself and his children. However, after the allegations, streaming service Hulu canceled the project. Many other companies and organizations have also distanced themselves from Combs. Despite this, his net worth remains significant, estimated at $600 million. Properties and assets. Sean Combs has amassed an impressive collection of art with the help of top gallery consultants. He also owns multiple high-end properties, two of which were raided during investigations: his homes in Los Angeles and Miami. In 2014, Combs bought a Los Angeles mansion for $39 million, using 2 mortgage loans to finance the purchase. The mansion features a pool with an underwater tunnel leading to a grotto and is located near the Playboy Mansion. In September 2024, Combs put it up for sale for $61.5 million. In Miami, Combs purchased a mansion on the exclusive Star Island in 2003 for $14.5 million. The estate boasts multiple pools and a private dock. In 2021, Diddy bought another nearby property for $35 million. This second home stands out for its entirely white interior and exterior, and it includes 6 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms, pools with fountains, and a spa. In the past, Diddy owned several other properties. In 2003, he bought a 3-bedroom apartment in New York City for almost $4 million, and a mansion on the outskirts of Atlanta for $2.6 million. He rarely visited the Atlanta home, and it fell into disrepair, with graffiti left by random visitors. Diddy sold the mansion in 2007 for $1.3 million, and sold the New York apartment in 2017 for $5.7 million after renovating it. In 2004, Combs bought an estate in Alpine, New Jersey for $4 million. The house features a grand curved staircase, a living room with floor-to-ceiling windows and a fireplace, and several small pools in the garden. Diddy tried to sell this property for $9 million starting in 2007, but it eventually sold for $5.5 million in 2016. Additionally, in 2009, Combs purchased a house in Toluca Lake for Kim Porter, paying $5.25 million. After Porter passed away in 2018 due to pneumonia, Diddy sold the property in 2022 for $6.5 million. The house has 6 bedrooms, 6.5 bathrooms, a home theater, a spacious living room with a fireplace, and a large kitchen. Outside, there's a patio with a fireplace, a basketball court, and a large pool with a jacuzzi. Diddy's car collection has included several Rolls-Royce Phantoms, a Lamborghini Gallardo Spider, a Ferrari 360 Spider, a Ferrari F430, a 1958 Chevrolet Corvette, a Jeep Wrangler Unlimited, a Mercedes Maybach 57, and a Cadillac Escalade. The investigation is in full swing. Currently, Sean Combs is being held in a detention center while assembling a powerful legal team. Meanwhile, an additional 120 individuals are reportedly planning to file lawsuits against him for sexual abuse and exploitation. The youngest of the alleged victims is 9 years old. According to the lawyers, in some cases, unknown substances were allegedly added to the victims' drinks without their knowledge. Amid the FBI's investigation, long-standing rumors about Diddy's potential involvement in the deaths of Tupac and Biggie have resurfaced. This has also sparked other conspiracy theories.
Well, I gotta get going, babe.
What theories related to P. Diddy have you heard? Share your thoughts in the comments.